Adapting to life as an amputee is also new for C. He lost part of his left leg when he was hit by a drunk driver while riding his motorcycle. But it only motivated him more.
This is the greatest stuff ever.
We got contractors and companies and organizations donating immense amount of material and labor. I mean, for my wife and I to do the things that are being accomplished in 4 days, it would take us 15 years.
Over the next decade, about 16,000 post-9/11 veterans can be expected to come to San Diego.
Bruvald says San Diego isn't well prepared to deal with the influx.
And if we don't have proactive efforts to address that population, we're really at risk for some of those to fall into poverty.
The spirit of giving and local volunteerism is on display in a big way in Lemon Grove. That's where the home of a wounded warrior is being restored and upgraded for wheelchair access, all thanks to a nonprofit group called Embrace. They're redoing all the wiring in this 3-bedroom house in Lemon Grove to get it up to code, providing central air conditioning, a new bathroom and kitchen, and they're installing concrete railings along with handicap ramps to make it easier for wheelchair users to get around.
This is your basement to the house, huh?
Yeah.
Mark Hupp and his wife have lived here for about 3 years. He's a Marine Corps veteran who served in Iraq until he was injured by an improvised explosive device in Fallujah.
When I was hit initially, I denied medevac and I kept working because I didn't want to leave my team leader on his own. But what came from that was it ended up damaging my back and my vision primarily, as well as some TBI, and later on ended up developing into post-traumatic stress disorder.
Hupp eventually got involved with the Wounded Warrior Battalion.
A friend of mine is in prosthetics. A guy comes in and says, hey, anybody need any work done on their home? He goes, yeah, you know, we use Mark's house as a meeting place. He's a combat wounded veteran, you know, see what you can do as far as a railing, and then it turns into this.
Mark does a lot of entertaining here at his house, and most of his friends that come over happen to be disabled veterans who are wheelchair bound.
Sean Shepard is the founder of Embrace, the nonprofit company behind the Healing Our Heroes Home project. He says this is the 4th home to be restored in San Diego in the past year.
It really does say a lot about Mark as a person to say, you know what, I really appreciate you doing work on my home, but can you help me with my friends that come here who are disabled?
We got contractors and companies and organizations donating immense amount of material and labor. I mean, for my wife and I to do the things that are being accomplished in 4 days, it would take us 15 years.
No thanks is needed. This is our way of saying thank you to him for all that he's done. He doesn't have to thank us at all.
Shepard says about 100 student volunteers from San Diego State University will join other volunteers and contractors to complete the job this weekend. They also got support from Home Depot, McCarthy Building, and the Weingard Foundation.
I got this one. Forward a little bit.
Most of these veterans are from the recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I don't know how successful I'm going to be at this.
They've come to San Diego for the annual one-week summer sports clinic put on by the Department of Veterans Affairs, or VA.
I'm loving this.
Their injuries are seen and unseen, from spinal cord and loss of limbs to traumatic brain injury and PTSD.
Oh, this is great. Great weather, here with all the veterans. Can't ask for anything more.
24-year-old Corey C. loves the water and served 2 years in the Navy before his injury.
I have kayaked before, but it was a long time ago, so this is all new, especially with the football, all these sports they got going on. It's really neat.
Adapting to life as an amputee is also new for C. He lost part of his left leg when he was hit by a drunk driver while riding his motorcycle. But it only motivated him more.
This is the greatest stuff ever.
And that's what the VA hopes to do with these sports clinics.
You know, they got us out here playing football in these kayaks. You forget that you even have a disability. Missing a leg, you just become one with everything else. Throwing that football around, it's awesome.
flag, can't catch this thing.
Can you catch?
From playing football on the water to sailing, surfing, even track and field, this is rehab for the mind, body, and soul.
I got you now.
Studies show disabled veterans who participate in adaptive sports have less stress, reduced dependency on pain and depression medication, and higher achievement in education and employment.
Hey, we all have bumps in the road. It's what you do. You get back up. This mission redefined, it's probably been the best thing that's ever happened in my life. I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for what's going on. All these other veterans, when they smile, just gives me chills, gives me goosebumps, makes me feel good. It's good stuff, man. There's a lot of healing power out here.
How was it?
Great.
Corey C. now has a new goal: to compete in the 2016 Paralympics in Brazil.
Are you beat now? Legs tired?
Save me, man.
It's a blast out there, man.
1 out of 4 homeless people on the streets of San Diego is a military veteran. On any given night, up to 2,000 are either on the streets or living in a temporary shelter. Because of its strong military presence, San Diego is also home to the largest veteran population in the country.
There's still a lot more work to be done.
Eric Bruvald is with the National University System Institute for Policy Research in La Jolla. He says the federal government's goal of ending homelessness among vets by 2015 is likely to become harder.
Prior generations of veterans have done actually better than their non-veteran counterparts. They have higher incomes, they have lower unemployment rate, and they participate at a greater rate in the labor force.
But his study finds those who've served since 9/11, mostly 20-somethings, are suffering at far greater numbers.
So that's got to be of concern. Over the next decade, about 16,000 post-9/11 veterans can be expected to come to San Diego.
Bruvald says San Diego isn't well prepared to deal with the influx.
And if we don't have proactive efforts to address that population, we're really at risk for some of those to fall into poverty.
He says we also have to rethink employment training because the majority of vets go into jobs we don't offer here, like manufacturing and federal civilian work.
Conversely, veterans don't tend to go into the hospitality industry, something that we've grown a tremendous amount of. And there doesn't seem to be, especially among newer veterans, a huge number that are going into the innovative and science and technology industries that have remained a bright spot for San Diego.